Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy IntroSpecktive, and welcome back to the IntroSpecktive Podcast here on UCast Studios on YouTube. So make sure you subscribe to this channel so you can get all the weekly podcasts that we do on here. Hope you guys are doing well. This is episode number 2. I messed up episode 1. I accidentally left all the gameplay audio in, and I forgot to edit the video, so my apologies with that. This one will be a lot more podcast-esque, I guess you could say. And yeah, you're just gonna get the smooth audio chocolate throughout. So same format as last time. I went on Twitter, asked for your questions, and I'm gonna answer the ones that I think are make for the best topics. So let's get started. Vest Degree at Vest Degree, shout out to him, that's my homie. He says top 5 Switch games. My top 5 Switch games are, my favorite Switch game is Odyssey, by far. Odyssey is like one of my favorite games ever. I absolutely love Mario Odyssey. I've played it more than any other Mario game, even the Galaxy games, which I played extensively, but I've played Odyssey the most. I just love the mechanics of that game. Just the whole Cappy mechanic, like transforming into different things. The worlds were really cool. I think my biggest gripe with the game is that there's just a lot of like really pointless moons. Not necessarily pointless, but like they're just too easy. Like they're just really easy to get. There's not much of a challenge. And then, you know, when you're trying to get the moons to get the true ending at the end of the game, like you have to buy a bunch of moons and stuff. It's just, it gets a little redundant after a while, but for the most part, the moons are really awesome. And the game is just really awesome. It's bright, it's colorful, it looks great, it plays great mechanically. It's like so intuitive and creative. Like the controls are what you'd expect from a Mario game. Like they're tight and responsive, and it's just awesome. And it's by far my favorite game on Switch. Second favorite game obviously is Ultimate. I love Smash Ultimate. I don't know if I enjoy playing Ultimate as much as I did playing Smash 4. I think Ultimate is a better game than Smash 4, but I think that from during the time when Smash 4 was the Smash game per se, like other than Melee, I think I enjoyed playing Smash more during that time than I do playing Ultimate. Probably because Solo Charizard is just my favorite character to play in any Smash game. And I like Charizard in Ultimate, and I obviously love Piranha Plant, and I think that a lot of the new characters that they've added are really cool, and you know, there's some cooler mechanics. I think like the overall pace of the matches are more fun in that aspect, but I just think like the creative stuff you can do in Smash 4 was a lot funnier. Like you can just do a ton of funny shit in Smash 4 with like footstools and jab lock combos and like all sorts of like really jank stuff. Ultimate is more kind of like, you know, you pick the best option that your opponent can't react to, and you play defensively, and like, you know, it's Smash 4 is a defensive game too, but I think Smash 4 is like more neutral focus. Like I think it's more fair in the neutral, except for, you know, Bayonetta and Cloud. But like it really makes you have to have a great neutral game. In Ultimate, like you just pick your best out of shield options, or like your safest options, and like, you know, every character has at least one really good super safe option that they can use, and like they just exploit it. And I don't know, it's a fun game, it's a great game. It's very ambitious. I love how hard Sakurai is going, like with the fighters passes and everything. But I think overall, I enjoy playing Smash 4 more. That being said, Ultimate is still my second favorite Switch game. I still love it very much, and I'm going to continue to love it. And obviously, it's the main part of my channel, and Smash Bros. Has really just changed my life for the better overall, like giving me a platform and a job that I love. And, you know, I'll always be grateful for Smash, but I think that overall I enjoy playing Smash 4 a lot more. but both are great games. Number 3 would be Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle. Extremely underrated game, in my opinion. I know a lot of people played it. Excuse me, I still have this cough, man. I still have this cough from last week. I'm actually picking up some prescription today, so hopefully that helps me. But for now, I ask that you just please bear with it. But yeah, Kingdom Battle is very underrated. It's so fun, and like it's just so Nintendo. Like just the way that everything is like hand drawn, the animation of all the characters is just so fluid. I think it has like the best character animations in any Mario game. Like the way that they like walk and move and their facial expressions, it's just you could see how much time and effort and detail they put into just that. And then the gameplay itself is fun, it's challenging. There's multiple ways to play each level. Like the replayability of that game is awesome because you can play it again with a different team and different weapons and different strategies and try to get through that. You can like do challenges, like you can try to solo it with Mario. Like there's a lot of things that you can do. My main issue with the game is that you have to have Mario in your party no matter what, and then you have to have one Rabbid. I think it would be a lot cooler if you didn't have to do that and you could just have like any team that you wanted, and then they could maybe like make it so that like you can't use the same team twice in a row or something. You always have to like mix it up. I think that would make it a lot more dynamic. And if they make a second game, which I'm really hoping they do, that's like the main thing I would want to see is just, don't make me use Mario every single time. I mean, I get it. It's Mario. So obviously it's like you have to use Cloud in Final Fantasy VII, but, I don't know. I'd like a little more variety, like, because there's so many like potential team combinations that could have been, but you're not allowed to do because of having to use Mario and one Rabbid. But my usual team was Mario, Peach, and then Rabbid Yoshi was that was my team, and yeah, it got me through the entire game, like up until I mean like from the point on that I got Rabbid Yoshi, because he's like farther along in the game. But yeah, that was my team. So Kingdom Battle, super great game. Highly recommend it if you haven't tried it. Even if you're not a fan of like strategy games, there's just so much charm and like overworld stuff, and it's Mario, I mean, it's got the Rabbids too, but the Rabbids are actually pretty fun. Like it's probably the most bearable they've ever been, and it's because it's in the world of Mario, so they kind of balance each other out. But yeah, I think it's a great game. Number 4 would be Breath of the Wild. I don't think that I'm like burping too, dude. It's gross. This is raw and uncut, boys. Breath of the Wild is my 4th favorite game. I don't think it's as great as everyone else does. I wouldn't even put it in like my top 5 favorite Zelda games. But it's still an amazing game. It's still so ambitious and like just so grand, It really drives home like the whole like grand adventure aspect of Zelda, which is like my favorite thing about Zelda. So I think that there's a lot of I think it's the most annoying Zelda game is what I'm trying to say. I think that there's so many annoying aspects about the game, like weapon breaks, and then like finding a shrine and going in and it's just another fucking test of strength or whatever. And then there's just like the Korok seeds like just being worthless, but the game like never tells you that they're worthless past once you max out your inventory. So a lot of people like blindly collected all of them for the golden poo, and that was it. And like I don't know, I think there's just a lot of things that like rain is extremely annoying too. Like I hate the rain, dude. Like I don't think anyone likes the rain at all. It's just so annoying. Like there's just so many like obnoxious things about Breath of the Wild, but at the same time there's so many amazing things about Breath of the Wild. I think the combat is super sick. I think that there's a lot of really cool missions, like the one where you build the town for the people. That was a great mission. Like, that was awesome. That was probably my most favorite part of the entire game. That and hunting the Lionels. Or what are they called? I don't even remember what they're called. I think that's what they're called. You know what I'm talking about, like the centaur looking motherfuckers. That was sick too. That was really fun trying to find all the gold ones and everything. And just like exploring in general was really cool. Like running into like a giant troll or like one of those like stone giant things. Like that was cool. Like you're just walking through the woods and then you see that and you're like, "Oh, I want to fight that." And then you're just fighting. Like that's what's cool about the game. It's like you just discover a ton of stuff that you can do as soon as you discover it. And it's really cool. It really gives you the sense of freedom, and it's just a really fun experience. But it's not a game that I've played twice. The first time I played it, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and then I tried to play it again, like a full playthrough, and I don't know, I just found some things to be like really obnoxious, so I just kind of stopped playing it. But the first time I played it, it was quite the experience, and I think everyone knows what I mean when I say that it was like an amazing experience. Like it was just something like so like holy shit, you know. It was a game changer for sure, and I hope that Breath of the Wild 2 fixes a lot of the issues and it becomes more of the game that Breath of the Wild like really could have been. So that's my hope. And then number 5 would be Animal Crossing. I mean, Animal Crossing is just, it's hard to hate that game, like thematically. Like you just look at it and it just warms your heart. You know, it's like it's just so cute and inviting and fun, and like just like you really like grow to care about your village and your villagers. I mean, after a while, your villagers will just run through all of the dialogue that they say, and then it's just like whatever, you know. But like you care about getting the certain villagers that you want to have because like you think they're cool, and then you want to build your island the way you want to build it. And I think the only like big issue I have with Animal Crossing is that the updates just don't really add enough for me to like continue to play on the level that I did like for the first month. For the first month of Animal Crossing, I probably put in like 150 hours into that game, like just building my island, trying to get it to 5 stars and like getting all the villagers and stuff. Like getting the museum and the paintings and everything. But then like once I did all the things I wanted to do, like there wasn't really anything left to do. So I think the updates, like, while there's like some cool ideas, like the Dream Island thing is cool because you can go to anyone's island, even if they're not on. And then I think like the diving is cool and stuff. But I feel like that's just stuff that should have been in the base game. And then I think that the updates should be like more extensive, and like focus on like seasonal stuff. Like I'm looking forward to the Halloween update. I think that would be cool. But I think that a lot of these updates are things that could have just been in the base game. So like it doesn't really add enough for me personally to like go back and be like, oh, I'm gonna put another 100 hours into Animal Crossing now because of you could dive into the water, you know. Like it's just they just need to find a way to entice me more with their updates. And I think that the foundation is solid. It's a great game. It's really well made. It's you can tell that it's a big budget Nintendo game. Like it's just Nintendo at its best, like in terms of functionality and like as a video game. Like you can really tell that like it's a high quality Nintendo product. But they just need to add more, in my opinion. So thanks to Vestagree for that. Arctic Pyre says, well, with Nintendo's vast library, which underrated title deserves a sequel or remake the most? Alternatively, which overrated title deserves a sequel, remake the least? And he put underrated and overrated in quotations. I don't know if it's necessarily an underrated title, but I would really like to see a sequel to Mario 3D World. Mario 3D World to me is like one of the coolest Mario games, period. It was just so different, but like so fun at the same time. Because I love 2D platforming Mario and I love 3D Mario, and it was just them combining the two in such a way that like you couldn't really differentiate between, is this like more 2D or is this more 3D? It was like the perfect blend of the two great elements of Mario, and I just thought it was such a great game. It's got a fantastic soundtrack as well. Probably my favorite Mario soundtrack is 3D World. Is really jazzy and like upbeat, and it's just awesome. And all of the characters are really fun. Like I like the cat suit mechanics and everything, like climbing up walls and stuff. Like it was really, really cool. And I would super I said super like Super Mario. I would really like to see Super Mario World 3D too. That is what I would like to see. Maybe not as much as Odyssey 2 or like Galaxy 3, but at some point, I think if they made a sequel to that game, it would be really popular. And I think that they could only expand on what they did because it's so creative. So like, I feel like there's a lot more room for creativity with the type of elements that it has going for it. Like I said, the perfect blend of 2D and 3D aspects to make like this super unique Mario experience. I love that game. It's one of my favorites on the Wii U, for sure. Like probably top 3 favorite Wii U games. Alternatively, and I would love to see it get ported to Switch as well. Alternatively, which overrated title deserves a sequel, remake the least? I wouldn't say that I think that any game doesn't deserve a sequel or remake. I'm trying to think of like games that people would want remade for Nintendo. I think that like people who want like, I'd say like, I guess like Skyward Sword getting like an HD remaster or something, like I really wouldn't care to see that at all. I know people are like, oh, I want Skyward Sword HD on Switch. And I don't know. I guess that would be my answer. That would probably be the, like, of all the big games that people want remakes of, or not even remakes, like a remaster, or even a sequel, I'd say I would want Skyward Sword to never have a Skyward Sword 2. I would much rather see Breath of the Wild 2 or something like that, you know? So, you know, it's still not really an overrated game in my opinion. I think that the game is fun outside of the motion controls. So maybe if they did a remake or a sequel on Switch, it would be a lot better. If they still went the motion control route, I mean, it would be a lot better now than what they did with the Wii. But yeah, that would probably be my answer. So thank you, Arctic Pyre, for that. Frozen Zona says, talk about the never improving Nintendo online infrastructure. Oh man, Nintendo's online is bad. We all know this. We're paying $20 a year for pretty mediocre connection. They recommend that you get LAN adapters just to be able to fully experience lag-free connection. And even then, it's still not as good as rollback netcode, or, you know, even just like having dedicated servers. Like why are there no dedicated servers for Smash? I don't understand like why this huge game, probably Nintendo's biggest online game at the moment, maybe other than Mario Maker 2, because I think Smash is infinitely more popular than Splatoon 2 at this point. Like I know a lot of people still play Splatoon, but I think Smash, like in terms of like going online and like the majority of your gameplay is online, Smash is the biggest one because most people only play Smash online. So it's like a game that you're playing 100% online, like a lot of people. So I don't understand why they don't put dedicated servers. I mean, I would ask for rollback netcode, but that seems like an impossible thing to get from them. So I don't know. I think that them adding a few Super Nintendo games doesn't really justify the purchase either. I think if they made a virtual console, that would be sick. And I think that if they included some of those games for free as part of, the online service, that would be really cool. Like if you put Mario 64 or Ocarina of Time or something, like those definitive classic games that people would love to have on the go, I think that would also boost the worth of the online service. But right now, it's not really anything that you can defend. I don't know a single person who really defends Nintendo's online service. Even the most die-hard Nintendo fans like myself, I swear and live by Nintendo. I will defend Nintendo for a lot of things, but I cannot defend how bad their online service is, especially in 2020. We're in 2020 and the online service is still this bad. The Wii's online was better than the Switch's. I don't understand it. And then you look at Sony and Microsoft and the packages that they offer and all the things that they offer, and it's why is Nintendo not doing what they're doing? Sony and Microsoft are about to come out with the next gen, and their systems are going to be almost entirely online, with all of the things that they offer. Their online multiplayer is going to be the biggest part of what they do, especially the Xbox. And I don't know why Nintendo doesn't look at that and be we need to compete with that. Because right now, although the Switch is very innovative, it's a one-of-a-kind system, it's got a lot of fantastic exclusives and games on it, the online service is nowhere near as good as Sony and Microsoft's. And I think that's what Nintendo needs to start looking at and trying to compete with. Because even the youngest kids, if Nintendo is still trying to cater to young kids as their core audience, which I don't think they are at this point. I think they're catering to everyone in general. But even if that was their philosophy still, even the youngest gamers, the youngest kids are playing online now. It's just a normal thing for anyone of any age. When they have a game, they're going to play online. There's just no way that no one is not playing online. Everyone has at least one game that they play online. I'm pretty sure. I don't know anyone that doesn't have a game that they don't play online, or doesn't have any games that they don't play online. They exclusively just play single player stuff. Everyone has at least one game that they like to go play online. And in terms of Nintendo, whether it's Smash or Animal Crossing or Mario Maker or Splatoon or ARMS or any of those games, people go online to get the full experience. And it's especially with a game like Mario Maker, you basically are paying $80 for Mario Maker because you're paying $60 for the game. But to really experience the game, you play online. So you're paying an additional $20 just to get the full Mario Maker experience. So it's really an $80 game. So I don't understand why Nintendo doesn't offer more, or at least just have dedicated servers or for Smash, or I don't understand. They're getting millions and millions of dollars just from these online subscriptions because everyone has them. And even with the family bundles, they're still making money hand over fist, so I don't understand why they don't use a lot of that revenue to improve the service and make it worth $20, because it's not worth $20. It's just not. But it's our only choice. We have to pay for it, and it sucks. So yeah, I think that they really need to start competing with Sony and Microsoft, because every single demographic of their audience plays online now, whether it's young kids or teenagers or young adults or senior citizens. Everyone is playing online. So they need to get on that sooner than later, because it's the biggest problem that the Switch has, by far. So thank you very much to Frozen Zona for that question. Noctis456 asks, what's your favorite Final Fantasy? Gotta ask this question. So this is not Nintendo related. I appreciate the diversity in asking a non-Nintendo related question. Final Fantasy is my favorite game series of all time. I love Final Fantasy. It's something that I grew up playing. Final Fantasy on Super Nintendo, and then obviously Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9 on the PlayStation, and then Final Fantasy X on PS2, and just so on and so forth. And Final Fantasy X is my favorite game, like, period. So not only is it my favorite Final Fantasy, it's just my favorite game. Like, there's no game to me that will ever be better than Final Fantasy X. And I recently just played it with my girlfriend, and she had never played the game before, and she absolutely loved it, and she thought it was awesome, and she was crying her eyes out at the end, just like everyone else who plays the game. I mean, it's like impossible to not cry at the ending of that game, and I won't say anything because I know a lot of people haven't played it, but if there is one Final Fantasy game that I recommend people try, like if they're trying to get into the series, I will always recommend to start with Final Fantasy X, because I guarantee you, if you're really interested in Final Fantasy, you're going to love the series because of that one game. And then, you can play 7 Remake, 8, 15, 9, all of the games, and they're all different. They all have their own stories and stuff. And, the more modern Final Fantasy are action RPGs, which I enjoy. I still like turn-based. I don't even really know which genre I enjoy more. Final Fantasy X's turn-based, to me, is like the best turn-based system in any video game, like any turn-based combat game. To me, it's like perfect. That's another reason why I love it. And I love turn-based combat because of how strategic it is. But like the action RPG elements, I was a turn-based purist for a long time. And then when Final Fantasy 15 came out, I was like, okay, this is pretty good, but the combat in that game is like, it could have been a lot more, but it was a good foundation for Final Fantasy 7 Remake, which I was like blown away at how good the combat in that game is and just how fucking fun the combat in that game is. And that really was what made me like a fan of the action RPG now. So I appreciate that modern Final Fantasy is doing action RPG stuff because it's more modern. Like, it's the more modern style of gaming, If you want good turn-based in the modern world, you can play Dragon Quest. Dragon Quest 11. Fantastic game, fantastic combat. But I think that it's cool that Final Fantasy is starting to like move forward with the action RPG elements, because you can just do so much with video games now, and like they really showed like just how much they can really like push a system, like a combat system in 7 Remake. So I love both genres now. So it's really a preference thing. But if you're going to get into Final Fantasy, I recommend 10, because 10 to me has the best turn-based system of all. And then 7 and 8, they're active time battles. And so there's like a bunch of different stuff that you can experience, but I would highly recommend that anyone play Final Fantasy X just for the story. Like, just for the story and characters. Even if you don't enjoy the turn-based combat that much, like, it's worth playing just to see the story, because to me it's like the greatest story ever told. Like, for real. Like, I think it's like the greatest story ever written. Like, it just blows my mind how good it is. So thank you to Noctis for that question. And then this is going to be the last one of the podcast. Imanity of says, if you could revive any dead Nintendo franchise, what would it be? I would love to see F-Zero come back in the modern era, because modern racing games are sick. Like, modern 3D racing games are really, really fun. Like, Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition is like one of my favorite games of all time. A lot of people like Forza, obviously. And I think that if they brought back F-Zero and made it like a modern racing game with like today's graphics and stuff, it would be sick. It would be so sick. It would be like on par with Mario Kart. Like, it really would. I think that it would be like a more hardcore Mario Kart. And it would like rely more on like your pure skill as a racer. Because obviously Mario Kart has a lot of RNG elements, but like I think F-Zero, a modern F-Zero game on the Switch would be sick and everyone would play it and everyone would love it. I would pay money to like even be able to play like a demo. Like I would pay $60 to play like a 10-minute demo of like a modern F-Zero game. So I pray that they make one. I really, really pray that F-Zero comes back and it comes back hard, like super strong, super modern, intense, competitive racing game. That's what I would love to see Nintendo do. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening to episode 2 of the IntroSpecktive Podcast over here on UCast Studios. Once again, subscribe to UCast Studios for more, and I'll see you guys on Monday. Because I started the podcast like on, I think it was a Saturday or something. I'm posting it this week on Thursday, but from here on out, new episodes will be every Monday. So once a week on Mondays is when you'll get new episodes. And if you want to follow me on Twitter at IntroSpecktive, spelt just like it is in the title of the video, then you'll be able to ask me questions as well whenever I bring that up for future episodes. So thank you guys so much, and I hope you have a great day. Deuces.